Hi, you're watching TechCrunch TV. My name's Colleen Taylor. Here with me in the studio is Mike Sha, the co-founder and CEO of SigFig, which just raised $15 million in Series B funding.
Yep, that's excited. We're definitely excited to put it to good work.
Excellent. So just as a reminder to get started here, tell me what SigFig is. You launched here at TechCrunch. We did a video demo, which people should go back and look at, but explain to me and to the people, what is SigFig?
Yeah, so it turns out, most Americans have messed up investment portfolios. They make all kinds of different mistakes. Sometimes they pay too much in fees. Sometimes someone else is, mismanaging their money. But whatever it is, there are a lot of people who have issues, plus the fact that a lot of people are just asleep at the wheel. And what we want to do is build the easiest way for you to get your investment portfolios fixed. And that can be your 401k, your retirement accounts, your normal, trading accounts. But yeah, basically users come to our site, and within a minute of having signed up, we've brought in all their data, analyzed it, and we generate a bunch of investment recommendations for how to fix things up.
Okay, and can you give me any numbers? How many people are using this now? How much money do you guys have being managed on the platform? Anything like that?
Sure. So on the platform, one of the most kind of notable metrics is how much assets are on the platform. We now are over 75 billion. It's kind of a large number, so one way to kind of think about that is, what's basically the total amount of customers on the platform. I think one of the things that's exciting there is, there are literally hundreds of thousands of people now who have linked all their information and added all their investment data onto our platform.
Okay, good news. And then as the company itself, how many staffers do you guys have?
We're about just under 30 people now.
Okay.
Mostly, engineers and product folks, but still growing. And
right.
Obviously with the new funding, we'll continue to do that.
Right. Now let's talk about the new funding. So this is from Union Square Ventures and Bain Capital Ventures.
Yeah, that's right. I think financial services investing is one of those things where it's a little bit different than kind of just traditional Silicon Valley investing. And so we definitely wanted to go out and find, some of the folks who are kind of most thoughtful and helpful in financial services stuff. And so we've kind of brought on, some of who we like the most. Union Square Ventures is an awesome firm. They've actually made quite a number of investments in the financial services space over the last few years. And then Bain Capital, also, an awesome kind of financial services focused investor. In particular, we're working with Matt Harris, who is primarily focused on the industry.
Okay. And what a lot of people are hearing, what we talk about a lot in TechCrunch, is a Series B crunch. Companies who go out, they raise some seed money, they raise Series A, but once you get to Series B, it's a little bit more, the stakes are higher in terms of investors wanting to see some real traction. So what was your experience like raising this funding? How were you able to raise $15 million?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Series A, it's kind of you're getting started, and people are kind of betting on a vision. Still the case in Series B, but you really need to show, that you have real traction, real customers, and real business. And so for us, I think there were a number of things that were kind of interesting. One is, just the traction we've seen on the platform, users coming, the level of engagement that they have, all that kind of stuff. And then the other is, we've kind of focused as a company over the last few months on, distribution in particular. So finding a way to really scale the business.
Okay.
We've been very successful there. And, I think that's part of, what makes the company an interesting investment from, a VC's perspective.
And when you talk about that distribution, I know that I've written about, you've had some pretty big name partnerships. You're with USA Today. What else? Is that kind of the main way that you're expanding here?
Yeah, there's lots of people who come to SigFig organically, just by word of mouth and, just finding us. But definitely, one of the things is, when it comes to investments, there are lots of people who spend time on, finance portals and news sites. Over 100 million people a month are spending time on, some kind of finance or business site. And we basically said, hey, why don't we try to reach those users where they already are, and offer our service in, the partners environment as well. And so, they've been awesome to work with, really successful results so far. And a number of bigger announcements coming later this year.
Nice, cool. And so what is the plan here with this new funding? Where's the main focus going to be going forward?
Yeah, so definitely one piece is scaling. as we're kind of launching all these kind of large, partnerships and products, there's a lot that needs to go into our service because, we are a financial advisor. We're registered with the SEC. There's a lot of kind of infrastructure required to do this the right way and make sure that we're building a service that's trustworthy for consumers. So that's one piece. And then obviously related to that, building out, the engineering and product, parts of the organization. There's so much that we want to tackle, in the space. And so, having more firepower to go off and do that is, a big part of raising the round.
And what's the biggest challenge that you have facing your business? I'd imagine that convincing people to change their habits when it comes to investing, and you say we're a company with 30 staffers, but we manage all of this money. Is there a little bit of a psychological change that needs to happen with people when you're kind of getting them to come on to SigFig?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's kind of interesting with investments is a lot of people are oftentimes in denial about mistakes they make. But when it comes to investing, if I went to the mall and asked 100 people, like, oh, how are you doing with your investment portfolio? You would be shocked at what a high percentage of people know that they're making mistakes. And yet, still a lot of people do nothing. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that fixing your investments requires a lot of effort and friction. There's a lot of things that people need to do. You need to sign paperwork and figure out what to do and do all this kind of high friction stuff. And so I think the challenge for our product is to make sure we figure out how to remove as much of that pain as possible. So I think that's probably the biggest thing. And then definitely, becoming a trusted company is huge. We're dealing with people's money. It's obviously, one of the most important decisions that people will probably make. And so, we want to make sure that, people realize that, we're a company that's going to put the consumer first, which is, not always the case. In fact, it's frequently not the case in our industry. And that we're going to build things in a high quality, trustworthy way.
Okay.
So you gotta make sure we do that.
A lot of work. Good. Well, Mike Sha, thank you so much for coming by, and keep us posted on all the growth going forward.
Awesome, will do.